Welcome to Parents Make a Difference. I'm your host, Josie Peavy. Parenting is not an easy job. We all go through different obstacles, but one great thing is that we can learn from each other. There are so many people out there that have great stories that through Parents Make a Difference, we share those stories and we have the opportunity to see if there's something that can help us. No child is the same. But sometimes stories really do inspire us and help us to take a nugget from it. Sometimes, if you can take one thing from it, it can really enrich your life. It can help you in your parenting journey. Today, we have a mother of four girls, a single mom who's also an entrepreneur and a professor at a college. And so I am excited to have Angelique Galanis with us. Welcome, Angelique.
Nice to see you, Josie. Thank you for inviting me.
Being a parent of four girls, it must be a busy household.
Very much so from the get go, from morning till night sometimes, even at this time.
How old?
Younger
How old?
ages range from 26 to 32.
Wow. So when they were really young, how was it that you kept everything together and juggled everything? How did you do that?
If I go back to how we started our morning, it was very hectic to get them all dressed with breakfast, lunch boxes, and out the door. Once they were in school, I had a few minutes to finish up their breakfast because they didn't eat everything, of course. And mom, who has time to sit down and have breakfast with them? And then I would just do my rounds, make sure that all the rooms are kind of in order and tidy, and then go about starting work. Whether it was I was working in my business or whether I was teaching, I had to always work around their school schedules and accommodate their needs, their activities that they needed to be at, as well as any extracurricular activities outside of school, which included
Yeah.
Greek school and Sunday school, which were also things that had to be done on Saturdays and Sundays.
Now you have a home-based business. Did you have it then too? Angelique's Aesthetics, correct?
Yes, correct. That's right. Angelique's Aesthetics. And I started that when my youngest one was 2 years old.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah. So I had at that time, so there was 2, 4, 6, 8. Those were the ages of the girls. And I decided I was needed some flexibility. Prior to that, I worked in the corporate environment for 15 years. And it was a 9 to 5 job, but you're never there for 9 to 5. You always put in extra time. So of course, the mornings were hectic. Coming home was difficult. And I had decided at the time that it was time for a change. I still wanted to work, but I wasn't sure what it was going to look like. I only knew that it should be something that I could possibly do from home. So I have that flexibility with the children. So I started that in 1999, and here we are 25 years later, and we've expanded because my youngest daughter decided to come into this field as well in 2017. She now helps and also has her own clientele, but amazing help for me because as a mother, I used to wear many hats. Now I can have her do some of those take on some of the responsibilities that I don't have to do anymore, which is great.
Talking about responsibilities, I mean, when you have one child, it's easy to do everything for them, whether it's good or not good for them, but it's easy to do that. When you have four, there is no way, even if you wanted to do more for them, it's just so hard to juggle. So, how did you get the children more involved helping out?
Um, I could say that I always wanted to show them by example. For instance, we would get up in the morning and I'd ask them to do their beds and get their room nicely set up so that way when we get home or if they get home from school, it's nice and tidy. They do their best, but I was always behind them after they left and went to school, and I was tidying up So I think over time, as they grew up, they realized that there's a certain look that mom expected from them. So they, of course, until this day, they're much better at taking care of their personal space. Not everybody was the same. I found the older girls I was a little more lenient with. I didn't. They were always together and they shared a lot, and then the younger two were together. So it was easier, I think, for the younger ones to learn from the older ones as they got older, of course. I'm going to say that for the most part, I did really. I recall like one particular thing that was a problem, and that was laundry, because laundry sometimes was on the floor. Although they each had their own hamper, I was responsible for the laundry. And there was a point in time, and I don't remember the exact time, but I know at least the youngest one must have been about 11 or 12. And I said, okay, I think it's time. Everybody's responsible for their own laundry. And I was teaching them on how to do laundry. And after that, it was, I'm going to say, much easier for me because there was one big thing off my list. And basically, they took on that responsibility. And they didn't have to blame me anymore for mixing up all their clothes all the time. Because, of course, when you do laundry, you're like, there's everybody's clothes. So then when I had to sort them, I never could remember whose was whose. So they'd be upset about running into each other's rooms and switching their clothes around again. So that was an interesting thing that happened as they were growing up, giving them a little more responsibility.
So for those parents out there, if you think your child can handle laundry, I've heard young kids starting with laundry. Good. That's wonderful that you did that. I probably did not do enough of that. I could do more of that, and I'm always working on that. So that's why I mean I love hearing from other people's stories because I can always get something that I was like, I should work on that. I should work on that. So
Yeah,
yes, laundry with 4 kids. There's always a lot of laundry.
yeah,
I had a neighbor who had 4 kids, and the socks, she would put them in a container and she would just put all of them there. And so they would just take two. But that was her strategy and that worked. And she was very organized too, but that was one thing that she chose to do. Socks all in one container and everybody come and get, a pair of socks.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's an interesting strategy.
We
Any,
still have a bag of socks that we all throw in because we can't find the pairs. So
oh my goodness, two.
to
My
this
husband thought
day,
it was just me. I'm like,
no. So two daughters wear odd socks. They don't
right.
care if they don't match. The other two, they have to match.
It seems like it's stylish now to wear odd
Yes,
socks. A lot
I
of
think.
people do that.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, that's interesting. I have to tell my husband it's not just
yeah,
me, there's someone else out there. I'm
yeah,
sure there's
yeah.
many more people who lose socks. We now put them together in a bag so that it can go into the laundry. So for those who don't know out there, I'm a parent of 5 boys. But so we put them together in a bag and throw them into the and then I take them apart before they go into the wash. But at least they got into the bag together. It's like we gotta figure this out.
Yeah, we don't have any washing machines that eat socks, but there's always odd socks.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Any other suggestion on helping such a large household function um, better together that you've learned that maybe aha moments you've had? Um,
Yeah. So maybe back to the clothing situation, because, in the morning I'd help them get dressed or I'll help them choose their outfit. And then some of them were okay with it. Others thought that they could do it themselves. So didn't matter how they came down, as long as they were wearing a top, a bottom, they had socks and shoes on, off they'd go, whether they matched or didn't match, or whether it was a dress and a pair of pants, or it was tights and a top. I wouldn't argue with them. It was just easier to let them figure it out themselves. So they really learned from each other, and even now when they get ready, it's like they're always looking into each other's wardrobes to see what they could borrow, what they could put together. So they still share many of those experiences from when they were young. This today, yeah. So although they each had their own, it was nice that they were able to also feel like they could borrow and not fight about it, which was,
Yeah,
sometimes could have
that's
been an issue.
tough. Yeah, that's good. Any fighting going on though? A little bit.
I'm trying to remember. You know, not really. Not that I recall. Like if there was anything. Sometimes when we got our first dog, um, I believe I have to think about their ages. Probably 5. The youngest one was 5, and then they all wanted a dog. And I said to them, well, that's a big responsibility. And if you choose to have a dog, you need to take care of it. So, although I was resisting, I had to cave in and let them have a dog. And guess who took care of the dog? Mom. So they promised that they would take care of it. And then I'd feel sorry for it because I could tell they weren't taking it out. They weren't putting water in the dish. They weren't always putting food in the morning. They'd all run off to school, and there was the dog like left for me to take care of. So sometimes we'd have little battles about that. And it would be like, oh, it's your turn. Oh, you were supposed to do that. So they'd blame each other. And then I think over time, it just I don't know. I can't say that I recall it being a constant battle, but at the beginning it was a little bit of an issue because they all wanted a dog, but not everybody wanted to take on that responsibility. So it always fell on mom's lap. Today we have 2 other dogs, and they are totally responsible for them.
And everybody's living at home? All 4 girls?
I have 3 of them at home, and the eldest one is in Australia. She's actually teaching grade 3 and doing her master's there. So she'll be there for another year or so, and hopefully she'll come back.
So
Yeah.
3 girls, 2 dogs, and one in Australia.
Yes,
The
correct.
household
That's
is
right.
still getting bigger.
It's full. Yeah.
Oh, now thinking of raising 4 girls as a single mom, through your experience, what advice would you give to parents on finances, managing your finances? Because that's a lot of food,
Yeah.
that's clothing, um, extracurricular activities. I mean, I think a lot of single parents they're concerned. They're trying to figure out how to juggle it. And now you have one in university in Australia. One is coming into business with you, which is
Correct. Yeah.
wonderful. You're an entrepreneur. You have your own business, and it is at a point where you can also that your children are excited to do the same thing.
Yeah. So
They
I
see.
currently I have one daughter that is a full certified esthetician, and I have my second daughter who has been in law the last 7 years, 7, 8 years, and she also wants to pursue aesthetics. So she is taking courses, and I hope the 2 of them will be able to build something even bigger for themselves. And I'm really, happy about that because I never really um, gave them like I gave them the opportunity to choose to do what they wanted to do. I never said to them, I'm an esthetician and this is our business and you need to join us. Never ever did I say that. As a matter of fact, my youngest daughter was she was very much into cooking and baking, and I thought, oh, she's going to go to culinary school. So I would buy her, cookbooks and measuring cups and aprons, and then she finishes grade 11, and she says, "Mom, I have to do placement." Or was it? Well, anyways, it was in high school, and she said, "I have to do placement, and I'm going to do aesthetics." I said, "Are you sure? Because you've been telling me you like cooking, so I thought you were going to go to culinary school." So not that I discouraged her, but I was quite surprised to see that she chose this field. So um, with regards to budgeting and helping out, they've in the last 7 years they have contributed in different ways. Sometimes it might be they'll do pick up the grocery tab. Sometimes they'll we kind of look at the bills and say, okay, this is, it's summertime, the air conditioner is working, there's a lot of hydro. Okay, the hydro bill is more than expected, so everybody pitches in a little bit. They've managed to do pretty good on their own. I've instilled on them the importance of having some savings, not just for a rainy day, but for their future, because they are, they need to get out there and be on their own eventually. And that's what they're all working towards. So we're hoping that that will happen in the very near future. But I really wanted them to understand that, and they see how hard I've been working and what it's taken for us to have what we have, because we're very fortunate. There's food on the table, and they each have their own space, and they are comfortable, I'm going to say. And I've it wasn't 18 and you have to move out. It was 18 and then now what are your plans, so that we can work towards them. And everybody, will choose what it is they want to do and where they want to live or go. But I've never said to them, you have to like move out. No, I actually enjoy having them around. They're quite helpful in many, many ways. I I'm going to say the meals I don't cook anymore. They're the ones doing the cooking. So they plan them, they buy them, they cook them. Sometimes instead of me asking them to help me with meals, I ask them if they need help with the meals. The
It's
roles have
around
reversed.
now. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
When we're cooking for such a large household, it's just so busy, right? It's
Yep.
cook, 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 and then clean, 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 and go, go, go.
Yeah.
So yes, that's nice that now it's reversed. And so
Yeah.
you were just saying a short while ago to me, off screen, how they had cooked for you and asked you to come up to eat.
Yes. Yeah. And I said, yeah, shortly. Let's finish the podcast and then I'll go up and eat. They seem to like they do the meal plans and they like to eat healthy. I think part of it has to do with the fact that I showed them that I paved the way. I showed them what it is, to have a healthy meal. They are the table is always set in the kitchen. I must say that. So if anybody walks in, they always think we're going to have guests, but it's not the case. I learned that once we finish eating, it's good to clean and set the table for the next meal, because that way it's inviting. It's one less thing to do when we're meal prepping or meal preparing for food. Um, so just little things over the years. Some of them, like they're all fabulous cooks. I'm going to say I think they cook a lot better than I do. I learned myself, but today they have. I used to have cookbooks. I'm going to say, and today they have all the media, social media, and everything like the cooking shows. So they put amazing meals together. Yeah.
And also, I wanted to ask you, um, your home, was it a place where you would invite their friends, or was it more that they would go out to their friends' homes?
Oh, it would be their friends over here in the backyard. They have had amazing get togethers in our backyard. It was always a place where everybody knew to come. They have some friends that live in apartments and they can't barbecue there. So they come over with their meals and they'll all have a big barbecue in my backyard on a Saturday or a Sunday, because they're always welcome. And each of the my daughters have multiple friends and then the friends become friends. So before you know it, it's easy to have 15 people in the backyard, and they're all just a couple of friends they invite over, and there goes the party in the backyard. Yeah.
Wonderful, because it's also helping them to understand the importance of friendship, and you are cultivating an area where they can feel at home and feel that they can welcome people into your home, into their home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, we need to help our kids with their social skills and understand the importance of relationships, right?
For
So
sure.
just by doing that, you were helping in that area, in that area.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's wonderful to hear how you were encouraging them to go into the field that they wanted to go into, because sometimes we want them to go into certain fields, but that might not be for them. It's interesting how you were doing that, and then they came to your field.
Yeah.
You showed them something that that interested them. They saw some success there that enticed them to say, maybe this is the field I want to go into. And learning from someone who teaches it, and you're a professor at a college, I mean, right there, you're getting the information from, as it comes out, or you're going to these shows where they give you new techniques, they give you new information, and aesthetics is such a great field. We're helping women to feel good about themselves, right? Women and men, women and men.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a business that's about caring, and and I always say, if you're going on vacation, you start your vacation here first, and then you go on vacation. So it's always about, making other people feel better, for themselves. You look good, you feel good, you're happy. That's the I'm going to say the base of our business more than anything else. It is. I'm going to say, because I've had clients over the 25 years that still come to this day, they always say it's a pleasant place to come. It feels welcoming and inviting. And I think because my girls have grown up around it, they also look forward to chatting with them. And then some clients, they come and they say, oh, can I have a few minutes with the dogs? Even still, I want to book something, but can I see the dogs too? So, it's like, it's kind of, I'm going to say, we cater to all people and all needs, and try to make it a pleasant experience. Whether the girls were in the business or not, we were still there to help.
Oh, that's wonderful. Talking about when you were saying that before you go on vacation, we should start here. And I just remembered that you are going on vacation this summer,
Yes,
right?
I am. Yes,
To
yeah,
your
yeah.
to Greece. Is that
I
correct?
am
From?
correct. I'm going to Greece because my daughter from Australia is going to be meeting me in Greece. So I'm going there with one of the daughters, our third daughter. So the two of us are going to travel together. We're going to meet her sister in Athens, and then we're going to be touring a little bit, or staying in our home area, our local area, for the time being. That's all we've got, but booked. But we will try to go on a Greek island or two. We'll see. They're not that far. They're very, very easy to get to, very accessible. So I'm looking forward to that time with the two girls. It's always hard as a mother with four to have that little bit of time with each one. And sometimes it's, you get an opportunity. Why not take advantage of it? Bond and share, and have those little moments together, I'm going to say. When they were younger, I've got to make this note here, because when they were younger, when it came to gifts for Christmas, as an example, I always wanted them I would get the same gift. And the reason I would do that is because they would be jealous, I'm going to say, of if I got one thing and the other one the other thing. So what I used to do was I would buy the same thing, and they were quite happy with that. As they got older, they were getting upset if I bought them the same gift. It may be in a different color or the same theme, right? So then I learned, okay, now they're at that point where I have to treat them all differently, based on what the personality is and what their needs are. So I've learned that over time. That didn't happen at the beginning. At the beginning, I thought I better treat them all the same. But as we all know, they're all different. So we do have to treat them a different way.
Yeah, so true. So
Yeah.
now it sounds like you're working hard to invest time in them. I mean, you have one that is already in business with you, so you're investing time together, and one that's coming into business with you, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so these two, you're going on holidays. I'm not sure if I know one of them is not coming. Is the one of them coming out of the ones that are going to be an esthetician?
No, actually, those two are not. They're
Okay,
going to be behind. They've got to take care of business.
which is great, right? Which is
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I remember I was listening to Amy McCurdy, if I'm correct, and she was saying how 10 minutes a day spending with your kids, giving them 10 minutes a day. It's so hard when you have four, first of all, four or five. It's hard to spend time with each one every single day.
Yep.
But when she put it this way, 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, that's it, just 10 minutes a day spend with your kids. And I'm thinking, 10 minutes, that's not too much. But even if I can't do 10 minutes a day, I can do 10-minute slots here, there. And just investing time in them is the important thing. Letting them know they're valued, they're important, and investing time. And so as you're sharing that you're going to be on this trip with two of them, you're investing time in them and
Yes.
create some memories. And that's so important. And, to all the parents that are listening out there, we might undervalue just really spending time together. And that's why a lot of people say, it's good to have dinner together. Because when you have dinner together, now I'm saying dinner in conversation, not dinner and you watching your phones or playing games on your phones, but actually in conversation, talking and sharing, investing time in each other will help to create a stronger bond. And I'm always trying to work on that myself. So I encourage the parents out there to spend, to with intention, to spend time with your kids. Maybe 10 minutes a day will work for you. 10 minutes isn't too much. Um, if you have a lot of kids, maybe it's 5 minutes. Just really being there with them. Even drives, taking them to school or taking them to soccer or their activities. That's great time in the car, talking. Your thoughts on that?
Um, I do that, especially when they want to go downtown and meet up with their friends. I'll give them the drive to wherever they're going to meet up. Sometimes I'll pick them up. Sometimes they'll take an Uber home because it's late. But that is the time that I'm going to say that we have good conversation. And usually it's the one-on-one then. When you're with a couple of them, some of them might offer their opinion on something, or they come into the conversation, and then it becomes a group discussion. But I find when we're one-on-one, they can actually share more and be able to express how they feel without judgment and or disagreement with the other siblings. I find I think I've been doing that for quite some time lately because it's hard to get them all together at the same time, and because one I work with all the time, the other one I might drop off at work. She works at the hospital, so of course she might have a night shift. So I either drop her off at night and pick her up in the morning when she finishes her shift, and she tells me how her day went or how her night went at the hospital in emergency or whatever. So we get to catch up on certain things, and it's just me and her in the car together. I'm going to say that when they were younger and we would go, on trips, a lot of the things and those are for the mothers that can't spend time maybe just with one-on-one very long, but I loved the drives where I would get them singing in the car. We'd be singing songs, whether they were tunes from the radio that were very familiar, or I'd have a CD with the children's songs, and we would just be singing and happily going somewhere together. So if anybody knows me, they know I love to sing and dance, and those were the kind of things that I would do with my girls, and they, whether it was individually or as a group, and it really made a difference, I'm going to say. One other point I wanted to make was that when they were young, I was their mother, and now I'm more their friend. I don't feel like I'm their mother. They can say and share anything with me, and they're very comfortable. I'm not going to judge them or scold them or get upset with them. We just have good conversations now as adults. Compared to when they were younger. And I like the fact that our relationship has evolved and changed because, at some point you stop being that mother telling them what to do thing. And it's nice to be their friend today.
I like the way you said, and don't judge them. I was with someone and he would say, this is a no judge zone, no judge zone. And I'm thinking, it's the judging that's very hard when people feel judged, and our kids are more open if we're not judging, but if we can have a conversation and just talk through things and let them know that we're not here to judge. I mean, this is a journey where we're all working on something. We're all working on something. So I love that you said that. How did your parents influence you as a parent?
Ooh. My parents were immigrants. My dad came to Canada first in, I think it was October of 1965. And then a few months later, my mom and I came to Canada. Of course, he didn't speak a word of English, either did my mother. And he was working very hard. He had actually two jobs back then. He was a barber by trade, and then also worked at Simpsons, cleaning floors, night shift. So during the day, he was the barber, and through the night, he was cleaning floors at Simpsons. I'm going to say that I think they were very hardworking and very honest people. They saved as much as they could. They gave us whatever they could, and I was very close with my father. He passed away last year, last April, April 2023. Unfortunately, the last 10 years or so, he was not well and he was in long term care. But I grew up fast, or I grew up quickly, I'm going to say, because I had to take on responsibilities from a very young age, with parents working and having a younger brother. I was the one always in charge of taking care of him. And I think they were very how can I say, very loving, very caring, did the best they could to help us succeed in the way they knew. In the way they knew. Dad was always like very entertaining, a funny kind of guy, but very loved by many, many, many people. And that was pretty obvious at his funeral, and all the beautiful, things people wrote about him. Um, so I'm going to say I had to do a lot of growing up at a very young age. And as a result, of course, I got married very young and started working very young as well, and carrying a mortgage and a house and lots of children. So it was a beautiful experience. I, would never regret what I experienced with life in general, and especially the last few years, because sometimes we have challenges, and those challenges make us a lot stronger. I'm going to say a lot stronger.
They do. They do. It's really our perspective, right? And I like the way you have the perspective that whatever you went through, even if it was tough, it made you stronger. It made you stronger. We we grow through them, right? But if it's also the perspective is what helps us to choose. We have a choice. We could see how we are gaining from what we're going through, or we can see how we're losing. What we're losing because we're going through things. And I'm hoping that I can inspire others or encourage others to say, why don't we look at what we're gaining? Sometimes it's hard to see what we're gaining at that moment, but you might see later that something good can come out of whatever you're going through, even when it's tough. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's patience, sometimes it's mental mental strength. Sometimes it's just learning that we can handle more than we think we can, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things you've done to when you would go through struggles that would help you de-stress?
I would journalize a lot of things. I've always kept a journal, or a few journals, I should say. I think we went back a couple of years ago with the girls. I said, I think I have to burn these journals. They're too old now to keep. So I'm going to say, for the most part, just taking notes of things. And um, I have some really good friends. I have special relationships with other women in my life. They've always we support each other in different ways. But sharing is always a good way to kind of manage stresses. If you can have somebody that you trust, and you can express what you're feeling and why you're feeling what you're feeling, and they can help you, encourage you to move to the next step, or pursue whatever it is you have to pursue, even if it's sometimes a struggle. But I find sharing is very important with somebody that you trust, somebody that you can rely on, and know that they have your back. That's what I have found.
We're all going to go through stuff. We're all going to go through obstacles. We're all going to have anxiety at one time or another that we need to work through. It's just life, right? It's life. Life is ups and downs, ups and downs. But pushing through that, pushing through the obstacles, and that's some great strategies. Journaling. Maybe some of the parents out there, that's something you can do, is journal, because it helps you to self-reflect. How can I move from here? What is it that I don't like? How do I want to change things? Um, it's just writing it down. Sometimes it really can help. And also, like you said, friendship, surrounding yourself by, you really just need one, but someone that you
Mhm.
can share and bounce ideas off and just kind of let it off your chest sometimes. If you have that, that's a great way to move through some of the obstacles. I mean, music, you like music. I'm sure that
Yeah,
was the way. It's
yeah,
like you
yeah.
enjoyed, you said dancing and singing, right?
Yes, that's right. I think I've been singing since I was a little girl, because when I look back at my report cards, that's what the teacher said. She really enjoys singing.
Huh.
And dancing, I think I've always danced, mostly folk dancing, because that was part of our community. And I joined, a group when I was very young, and even in an adult group later on, and that was always fun. It was always a lot of fun to dance. Performed many, many times with costume at different gatherings, different functions, international functions, as well as local things. So it was always fun. Dancing was always a thing. And I know my daughters enjoy that as well. Like, they're amazing dancers. They also went to dance groups and performed. So I think that was a nice way to kind of enjoy, like have something else to look forward to.
Oh, that's great. So you have that in common. I'm so thankful you shared some of your experiences with us, and I hope that the parents out there were able to even get one nugget. I think it's wonderful how, you're able to bring these four girls together. You're a single mom, and helping these girls to find who, um, to help them create who they want to be. I once heard, people say they're trying to find themselves, but really, we can create who we want to be, and I think that's what you're helping them do, is find out who they want to be so that they can create it. And I love seeing how you guys are very close knit, because I did see that when we were out in a function and we were together, and I could
Yeah,
see uh, there's a close knit relationship there, and that's beautiful to see. I want to see more families coming together, siblings, being together, and it doesn't mean they're not gonna they don't fight. They can disagree. It's
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
to to support each other. And in your family, from what I've seen on the outside, I can see that. And even from the stories you share, I love the way you come to you're um, keeping them united, keeping together, helping them to feel valued and important, investing time in them. And I think I really do believe that parents make a difference, and that's why we do this. And for those that are out there listening, subscribe to Parents Make a Difference, because you'll get to hear from different people like Angelique, who has great strategies that she's used, and that you can, perhaps use in your own life. Angelique, I appreciate so much. Angie, I call you Angie most of the
That's okay.
time,
Okay.
but I love Angelique. Such a pretty name.
Thank
And
you.
aesthetics. is your company, is your business, and I am so thankful that you came to join us on Parents Make a Difference. You are a strong woman, and all you women and men out there, you are strong too. And remember, you have power, you have influence. Um, so thank you for joining.
Thank, thank you. Thank you for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed what we talked about, and I know that there are people out there that if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Thank you for that. So parents, remember, you make a difference.